Remember the End Bad Governance protests? Some people were tracked from their social media. So for me, I feel as a young person that is intentional, that wants to create change, that wants to speak up about social justice issues, speak about human rights. In the name of honesty, there's a whole lot. It would cost you your life.
It could cost you your life.
It could cost you your life.
Express every thought, every motive, every opinion. It all matters here. Expression is not a pattern of the weak. It is strength at its peak. So speak up.
Hello viewers, welcome to a new episode of The Freedom Mic, a space for fearless conversations about justice, freedom, and the power of expression. I am your host, Funke Adeoye. And with me on the show today is an amazing young man, a creative and a social justice advocate, the founder of Udama for Africa, who does a lot of work around movement building, facilitating the right to freedom of expression for young people. And today we will be hearing from him how he uses his words and his voice to speak truth to power. Zakari Emmanuel, we're happy to have you on the show today.
I was going to say, right on, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I feel twice as honored to be here. It's a blessing to sit beside you. Coupled with the fact that I've worked with you before. So I feel so honored. I feel so blessed. I feel like I just want $1 million.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So before we go right into the more serious questions, I want to ask you some fun questions.
Okay.
First of all, I want to rate your patriotism. And so I would say,
Let's go.
How many states have you been to in Nigeria?
I think I've been to up to 19.
Okay.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I haven't been to the eastern part of Nigeria yet.
Oh, wow.
And I feel so bad. But I think I've been to virtually all the northern states. I've been to the western states. But for the eastern state, no.
Okay, so can you give us maybe 4 states that begin with letter A and 3 states that begin with letter O?
Letter A, Abia. A, Adama, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, O, Ogun, Ondo, what's another O?
Oyo. Yeah, but that was a good one. That was a good one. Thank you. Thank you so much. So last question on the fun questions. Tell me one unpopular opinion you have about life.
Like if you don't show up for yourself, nobody's going to show up for you.
That's direct.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get right into it. Talking about showing up for yourself and showing up for yourself and people not showing up for you. You represent a generation that has understood this thing you just talked about. It's vocal, it's creative, you're a creative yourself, and it's unafraid to challenge the system. How did you find your voice in civic activism, and what moment made you realize your voice mattered?
So for me, I feel we live in a society where there's a whole lot of injustice. We live in a society where there's a whole lot of corruption. There's a whole lot of nepotism. By default, our society is patriarchal. Young women are married off early. I come from northern Nigeria, and I see all these things happen. There's a whole lot happening in our country that doesn't sit well with me as a rational human. And I'm like, how do I contribute? Do I just continue to rant? We no go agree, join the protest. The multitude, we no go agree. What can I make? What can I do that is distinctive, that can reach to the heart of people and help people understand that if it's happening somewhere in Adamawa State, that means it can actually be happening somewhere in Anambra. If it's happening in Benue, it can also happen somewhere in maybe Lagos, right? So I feel like we're all in this whole conundrum together, and I'm like, okay. As a spoken word poet, formerly I would just recite spoken word pieces that talks about normal things in society. And then I think when I put out a spoken word piece that is titled Critical Thinking, that talked about Nigeria having natural resources, but yet we don't know what to do with the natural resources. And then it hit me people started to reach out to me like, guy, that piece was killer. How about you start to do piece around gender? How about you start to talk about governance? How about you start to talk about human rights? And then it dawned on me that, oh, I'm actually doing something really cool, yeah? And I could actually use my art as a spoken word poet to subliminally affect the mind of young people, to take positive actions in the society. And for me then, it was a light bulb. And since then, there's been no going back. I saw a carry and they go.
Well, I'm curious to know, what does it cost? What would you say is the cost of speaking your mind in a country like Nigeria today?
In the name of honesty, there's a whole lot. It would cost you your life.
It could cost you your life.
It could cost you your life. Thank you. I feel we live in a time, in a society where those in authority don't want to listen. They don't want to accept the reality. We all know the reality. We all know that there's inflation in our country, in Nigeria. We all know that there's human rights abuses everywhere. There are wrongly incarcerated people in Nigeria. But yet, when you speak to power, when you speak to authority, you know definitely you're going to get backlash. You're going to get people that will come and say it's a lie, and they'll come out with their own fact in quote, making you feel like the reality of things is actually not true.
Yeah, you start questioning yourself.
Yourself like, okay, but we all know in the reality of things that things in the market have gone high. So for me, I feel as a young person that is intentional, that wants to create change, that wants to speak up about social justice issues, speak about human rights, I feel like I'm also looking out for myself too.
Yeah.
Like what's the guarantee of my safety if I say the things I want to say? Like if I create a piece, or if I put out a tweet, or if I put out a post, they know will come pick me. Remember the End Bad Governance protests? Some people were tracked from their social media, right? And for me, as a person that is always online, I want to say things. I want to even talk about things like early child marriage happening in the north. I want to talk about vesical vaginal fistula, how young girls are married at a very early age, and then you see them, they are now leaking because of society feels like, oh, it's a norm. Oh, she's my daughter. I can give her out in marriage at any age. These are things I want to talk about because these are human rights in itself. But you look at the family you're from. Even your family go down the one you say, no, we don't want any issue, or we don't want any bad name, or so by default it kind of like stifles you. It kind of helps. It makes you.
You self-censor.
Thank you. That's it. It just narrows you, and you're like, I don't go even put them out again. And that's you silencing the voice of 1,000,001 people that their voice would have been out there.
And are there times where you felt this way? Yes, there is. Every human being has that desire, need for self-preservation. Have there been times where you felt this way, but in spite of it, you still felt, no, I'm going to put out this piece, and I don't care what's going to happen?
Yeah, I think I've done that a couple of times. So there was a piece I put out. I think it was Real Men Don't Rape. Yeah. And then in that piece, when I put out the piece, so I shared it with a couple of friends, because I think in the piece had Hausa lines, some lines with Hausa. And then I shared it with a couple of friends, and then they're like, no, this thing go shake the bowl. No. And so there was a whole lot of opposition from my friends that I felt that resonated with what I do. And they're like, no. And if they that are closer to me, that I feel like resonate with my energy, with my creative process, with me speaking up, are telling me no, then what would the normal guy that doesn't even know me, what would he start saying? Like, how would they even relate to it? So sometimes I would want to put out a thing, but I'm like, no, I put it back. But sometimes I go ahead and just put it. And then I hear what they want to say throughout that week. Sometimes mild depression kind of setting, but I go still not say, okay, I don't talk 'em, and it's out there.
So if you could design a more freer civic space, I imagine that there are so many things that would come to mind, but what is one reform that you would want to start with?
I think for me, before even the reform, before laws, before putting structures, I think it's the mindset of the people. The mindset of the people needs to be, it needs to be renovated. There's a need for renovation of mindset, because in the name of honesty, you can if you put out a system, say for example, you've built a beautiful house, and there are lots of amenities inside that house, but the people using the house or the facility don't know how to use the amenities inside the facility, then it's going to be dilapidated, right? So there's a need for us to create more sensitization, let people understand these things. Campaign awareness, it can never be overemphasized. Never be overemphasized. For me, I say from the barest minimum, understand that human right, not human right. I need you to understand that what you they do, fee, cause trouble, because you think say you in your room, you just put out one post say that they kill Christians.
So a bit of also being careful. People should be careful of misinformation and disinformation as well.
Perfectly, you said it perfectly. Misinformation, disinformation. I feel that's really a thing, but it really starts with the mindset of the people. Then after the mindset of the people, then we go to laws and reforms and putting in structures and then following up with them. Like, because I feel like the problem we have in Nigeria is not like we don't have the laws, we don't have the reforms. We have these laws in place, but we don't follow through with them.
Yeah, we don't implement.
We don't implement them. And if we don't implement them, it's like you have a beautiful car and you don't drive it, you just leave it there.
It would actually wear out.
Yeah.
You know, something you said that really strikes me is the fact that on this show, we speak a lot about how the system does not provide enough protection for human rights advocates, activists, journalists. But then what you said about mindset and the part about misinformation and disinformation is also critical, because people also have to be mindful that whatever they put out there is true. So yes, we want people to speak truth to power, but make sure what you're actually speaking is true.
Thank you. Can I say
yes,
something?
please,
Yeah,
please.
I feel I would always say this to young people.
Thank you. I was in my last question that
I would always say this to
what's
young
your
people.
take to young people?
Young people. It's one thing to say, we no go agree, we no go agree, we no go agree. If they give you mic, why you no go agree? Can you actually articulate your thought on why you no go agree? Do you have the facts? Do you have the data? Do you have the right information? Can you articulate your thought? Because say, for example, you were brought before a panel or you were brought before lawmakers. First of all, you know they don't have temporary forevers. They don't have the whole time to listen to you.
Yes.
So can you hit them with the facts and the data, and they
the
know that
beginning.
yes, these people are they actually know what they are saying. It's not just saying, oh, we no go agree, we no go agree. Okay, why you no go agree? Then you can say, we no go agree because and there's nothing to be said. So I feel we young people need to go for. In as much as we don't like what is happening, we should also go for knowledge. We should also research, find out, keep asking questions, because I feel it's in asking the questions that we get the right answers.
Wow, Zakari, I feel like we could go on and on and on, but this has been such an insightful conversation. And I want to thank you so much for the great work that you do, for using your art to speak truth to power, and of course also for some of the things you've said today. So on behalf of our partners, Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development, and of course Hope Behind Bars Africa, we have this token for you. We thank you so much for coming to the show. We want to tell you to keep using your voice to speak truth to power, and we hope that subsequently we have more time to engage.
It would be an honor to join you again and again and again. I feel blessed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so this show is brought to you courtesy Hope Behind Bars Africa and its partner CJID, with the support of the National Endowment for Democracy. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles, subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel. Once again, I remain your host, Funke Adeoye. Until next time, stay informed, stay brave, and keep your voice alive.
I tried to speak. Now I open my mouth, but only muffled words come out because the society wears me a face mask. And somehow I did hope that it would mask my discomfort too and come forth in two portraying dual resilience to my caged words and thoughts. How do I communicate when alphabets are forbidden in this continent? It's a taboo. You dare not say a word. Keep shut. If you don't want your life to be cut short through bullet shots or doors locked shut, bridle your tongue. Saddle yourself with the responsibility of holding your words. Bustle it in. You're not the only one. Just find a way to cope. There's no ray of hope. Everyone has something to say, but rather than staying at bay, just keep mute. They say refuse to blow the flute of perspectives and narratives, outrightly giving room for legal thieves. After all, they can't be rebuked. No one speaks. For how long will this remain? How long will we rest in the bosom of pain? Is this our lot? We have a lot to say. Why should we cower in fear, silently wiping every tear with tears on our coats, gulping lies coated in glitters, one which litters our intellectual environment? Enough! Enough of holding back, making situations a hard nut to crack. Enough. Enough of hoarding knowledge in a bid to stay safe. That's pretty ironic. We are endangered daily when we refuse to make use of our freedom of speech. If our right to speech is redundant, then we have nothing left of the words our heroes cleft onto. You see, it all starts with a world view expressed through your word view. Your words express the depth of your wholesome mind, desires you find far-fetched. Look no further. It's all within arm's length. If you just speak up. To the timid boy in Jigawa who wants to make history like Tafawa Balewa. To the zealous soul in Oyo who wants to lead positive change like Obafemi Awolowo. To the quiet girl in Umuahia who wants to change narratives like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. It all starts with your speech. This wide reach you envision, exterminating division intermediately, wholly and fully. It all starts with your speech. So feel free to yarn, free to express yourself in words you deem fit and nothing fit to deem your light. You see, your mouth is a collection of knowledge, sharp as two-edged sword, cutting into situations and speaking your opinion. Yes, your speech flows over issues like the waves in a beach. You teach and educate the masses, so speak. Here, your opinions matter. Your thoughts shouldn't be whispered under your breath. Your breath of wisdom is needed here, so speak. Express every thought, every motive, every opinion. It all matters here. Expression is not a pattern of the weak. It is strength at its peak. So speak up.